Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our online webinar from buildingSMART UAE chapter. Today, we continue our series of online webinar in this year. Last time, we have a webinar about the openBIM value and the concept of openBIM. Today, we proceed with a webinar about the best practices or use cases for applying openBIM concept in real project. Before we start with our esteemed speakers, we will start by a short introduction about buildingSMART chapter, the vision, mission, and call for join on the social media and be part of our community. The first part will be delivered by Engineer Hamid from Dubai Municipality. Engineer Hamid, you have the stage. If you are ready, please go on.
So, Dr. Ali. Good morning, everyone, and welcome, and thank you for joining us today. Can you listen to me? My voice is clear?
Yes, Engineer Hamid.
Yes.
Your mic, others.
All clear.
So, good morning, everyone, and welcome, and thank you for joining us today as we take you through the impactful work and vision of the buildingSMART UAE chapter. Our mission is to lead the digital transformation of the construction sector in the UAE by promoting the adoption of open standards like openBIM. This will ensure the efficiency, transparency, and sustainability across all the stages of the construction lifecycle. As we go through, Dubai Municipality is hosting the chapter, and our CEO, Engineer Mariam Al-Mahiri, is the chairperson, and the chapter management team, as shown, Engineer Muhammad and Dr. Ibrahim and Dr. Ismail, and me as Engineer Hamid and Engineer Basil and Engineer Mariam Al-Muhammad. So, our mission is to unlock the productivity and sustainability by championing open data and promoting open standards in the building sector. We aim to position the UAE as the global leader in digital transformation by integrating the innovative technologies and fostering partnerships. So, as you can see here, the buildingSMART of UAE chapter is proud to host and manage initiatives that foster collaboration among government entities, private organizations, educational institutions, and even individuals. We invite you to become part of our open community. You can enjoy our free membership, gain access to webinars and events, and receive free technical support for implementing openBIM. Together, we can advance innovation, collaboration, and we can advance innovation and collaboration across the industry. As you can see, we actively participated in global buildingSMART events and technical rooms by focusing on topics such as building regulations, BIM, GIS integration, and the development of digital twins. Our team is dedicated to raising awareness about the benefits of openBIM standards through workshops, conferences, and customized training programs tailored for professionals across the UAE and the region. You can find the webinars on our YouTube channel, on the website, and on our LinkedIn profile or account. Please don't forget to follow us. As you can see here are some of the webinars that have been done lately, and the recording is on the website. And also, we are excited to announce that we are preparing for the annual gathering 2025. This event will bring together industry leaders, experts, and stakeholders to explore innovative approaches and share insights, discuss the future of openBIM and digital transformation in the construction sector. If you are interested in joining our contribution to this prestigious event, please don't hesitate to contact us. We would love to have you as part of this exciting journey. Thank you for your support and for being part of this journey together. Let's build this smart and more sustainable future of the UAE. Thank you so much, and you can.
Thank you, Engineer Hamid. So now we move to our webinar. We have three speakers today, Mr. Georgi Gorosh and Mr. Pascal Rahman and Mr. Murtaza Arsiwala. They will have a chance to present themselves briefly at the beginning. So Mr. Georgi, if you are already ready, please share your screen. You have the stage. The topic of today is Open BIM in live projects.
Thank you, Engineer Ali. We wanted to start the other way around with the gentleman from MediaLogic, but we can do it the other way. Not a problem at all. So I'm the general manager of Architectural Corner. Architectural Corner is in the UAE since 1976 with present management since 2008, and we have been developing our design expertise based on the openBIM and using the BIM ecosystem based on ArchiCAD from day one. What I was going to, if you want to know more about us, the QR code is here. What I wanted to speak to you about today is how we use the openBIM in daily projects. We use BIM in all the projects that we do, regardless of the client's requirements or the lack of it. If the client has a BIM execution plan or a specific requirements, we of course follow them without a problem. Therefore, we have decided to show you two examples, case study 1 and case study 2. Case study 1 is our standard industrial project workflow and the way that we normally do with the emphasis on the openBIM collaboration with the steel supplier that is providing his model in IFC file format. We normally do everything else in-house in one federated integrated model because that is the best way to avoid clashes, and instead of doing clash detection after the models are built, we try and strive to do the clash avoidance during the design stage. So these are the parameters of the project. It is in Easy Dubai, which is a part of Dubai South development next to the Al Maktoum Airport, and it is specific by its plots being accessible from the public areas and from the free zones at the same time, which is greatly appreciated by the clients. So this model that we have generated is used for the architectural structural civil and MEP design and submissions to the authorities for the approvals, of course, documentation production, and the issued for construction documentation. If you have noticed, the steel design here is pretty straightforward. It is just describing the geometry, let's call it level of detail 200 or maybe a bit higher, let's say around 300. But when it comes to the issues for construction stage, the steel specialist comes in and they provide their IFC modeling that in this case was generated in Tekla. We then coordinate and integrate that model, but before we do that, we check their model and reduce the complexity of the model. Since in one of the cases for a larger project, only nuts and bolts were having around 8.5 million polygons, and the model was extremely heavy for the management. as you are all aware, having larger project, this one is not so big, can put an extreme strain on your computers and on your software. So at the issues for construction stage, after integrating the steel model from the supplier, we have done the MEP coordination. We have produced the issues for construction documentation for the site, and we have followed the site work by updating the models in order to, in the end, generate the as-built documentation. This is a small movie of a walk around, if it works, of a walk around through the model. As you can see, it is more or less. I have to say that the site team and the client appreciated having an opportunity to have BIM-X hypermodels shared, and they have used them extensively for the design review by the client, and the site team used it extensively to clarify any small details or any questions, to answer any questions that maybe were not covered in the standard documentation. So very quickly, instead of calling anybody from the design team, they just opened the model, checked it, made a snapshot on the usual WhatsApp group that of course exists for every project in Dubai that I'm aware of, or some other mode of communication that is more recordable and more professional maybe. And they were able to handle the clashes and the problems, if they were, or answer any questions that might have had on site, using just the BIM model and integrating BCF compliance and BCF questions and notification that can be automatically sent and that show up in the model itself. This is the workflow that we are normally employing on all the projects that we do, regardless whether they are industrial or residential or commercial. But in this case, we are showing industrial projects because they're usually not presented as projects where BIM technologies are implemented and that are being done. This is the photograph of the finished building. It is now being fitted out for the end user. The photo is from about a month ago, and these are the lessons that we have learned. While you are not, I mean, we have been doing this for quite some time, but on every project you learn something new because software changes, people change, design changes, clients' requirements change. A lot of things can change, and a lot of things can be different. For example, if you are into Easy Dubai in Dubai South, I have seen some colleagues in the audience that are very well acquainted with the area. You will see that all those buildings look more or less alike because there is a development control regulation specification from the client, but they are quite different. Maybe only the colors on the elevations and the application of them is similar. So every project has its own specifics, its own story. Maybe the scenario is rather similar, but the story is always different. in this case, we have tried to show you the process where how we use our base BIM tools and how we use the openBIM. In this case, we were working in ArchiCAD. We produced the BIMX model for the site and for the client and for the records, and we integrated the model that came in IFC format from the steel supplier from another software from Tekla. Another project is slightly smaller, slightly larger, about 3 times the previous 40,000 square meters built up area approximately. It is developed. It is now in approval process. It is developed by the Radius Group in DIP. This project, the way the story of this project is a bit different than the normal story and normal way that you normally work, because the client has very highly developed BIM capabilities and very specific requirements with very well set up common data environment and the procedures for the running of the project. So what happened is from the beginning, from the initial tendering stage, the client has provided concept design in IFC format that was the base for the development. What we had to do is to check those models and to see how they work with the local regulations, with the specifics in the local requirements, with the local regulations, with the authorities, and in short, to do a proof of concept and to use them for a reference for further development. As you can see here, we were using just freely available IFC viewers. In this case, BIM Collab Zoom. It could have been something else. We prefer this one to federate, to combine the models that we have received and to do the checking. After that, we have imported those IFC models and started reviewing and revising to the client's requirements, to the local regulation. There have been some changes in the structure systems. Some items were removed, some items were added. Normal design process. And we have been working on that project in the meantime. The developed model, practically we had to, of course, rebuild the whole model practically from scratch, using the original models as the reference. Parts of the original models are still living with us, although converted for the ease of use. But again, the openBIM format has openBIM procedure, and using exchange formats that are easily readable for multiple softwares is the base of the success of transferring the client's idea and following the client's requirements to produce a design that the client is happy with, and produce a model or multiple models, whatever is required for the generation of the documents for the approvals and for the Dubai Municipality BIM submission approval also. After we have, if you notice here on the left on the top, there are 3 models, the 3 original IFC models, and we have combined our IFC model from ArchiCAD, from our updated concepts, preliminary design, that then we could run checks whether the models are aligning, whether all the required parameters and all the required elements exist in the models, and whether in short, whether everything is okay or not. In this, we had extensive support from the client, because they are used to certain software packages that they were normally using, but we have managed to overcome all the software compatibility or the lack thereof issues, and we are proceeding successfully. Just a small movie to illustrate the model as it was about a month ago, if I'm not wrong. Of course, some things have been sorted out. For example, those bollards were in the wrong place. That's a minor detail. What is the point of this exercise, or what did they want to show you here? The idea that you can start from one thing and develop it to be the other thing. The start from the IFC that was generated from Revit, or start from the Revit model, coordinate it with ArchiCAD, import it, review it, compare it, run the clash detection, run the specification checks, run the quantity checks. It is all possible when you work on the openBIM principle, when you are not locked into a certain way of working, where everybody can use what he likes best. This is the approximate workflow that was applied in this project, and we are in fact still developing it further, refining individual steps and the individual approaches, and of course individual procedures, to better suit the client's requirements and to optimize the workflow. What are the lessons learned? If you are familiar with how ArchiCAD handles IFC files, there is a XML file that you can edit or write yourself if you are inclined to do so. That is called IFC translator, that tells ArchiCAD how to read an IFC model or how to write an IFC model, and that setup is absolutely critical to customize the end result. As we all know, computers are notorious for never doing what we want, but always doing what we tell them to do. So if we don't tell them to do the right thing, then I don't know how are they going to do what we want them to do. Dr. Ali, are we going to have the questions now, if there are any questions, or are we going to let the Media Logic gentlemen do their part?
Actually, I prefer that attendee first to send the question to the questions and answers tab or chat.
Okay.
And at the end, then we review all the questions and we answer them. So I already sent the first question. I think you started to talk about it, about the challenges you are facing usually when you work with openBIM and IFC. But please, I encourage all attendees, if you have any question related to openBIM workflows, applying openBIM in a real project, if you would like to share even your personal experience, so don't hesitate, send your questions, your feedback on the question and answer. And I think we can move now. We have time, actually. We can move, but now to the next speaker, from the gentleman from Media Logic. And then we go back to the questions and answers. So I don't know, Murtaza or Bhaskar, if you are ready, please go on the stage.
Yes, I will let Bhaskar start. I'll just start the presentation. Yes.
Well, thanks a lot, Dr. Ali, and thanks to the Building Smart UAE chapter for giving us this opportunity. Thanks a lot, George, for that wonderful presentation shown in terms of openBIM and how seamlessly ArchiCAD could play a big role in uh, talking to the other stakeholders. A little bit about MediaLogic. We are based out in Dubai, catering to all the Middle East. We act as a distributor across the MENA region. We have been fortunate to be part of the Building Smart to drive such initiatives and also align ourselves with the vision of the region. So we strive along with our clients identify the works, identify the working culture and the solutions what are used over here and align ourselves into that. So we always strive in staying on top of the latest technology. MediaLogic's approach of technology distributions has always been putting the customer first, keeping in mind the budget of a project. We align the solutions according to that to justify the ROI for both software as well as hardware. I keep it very short. Thank you. I'm open for any questions. If we also have a website where you can go look for us, we have a web store. If there's anything required, please feel free and reach out to us. I pass on the stage to Murtaza.
Yeah, hi. So already the most of the work is done. So let me introduce myself. I am an architect by profession and a certified web manager. I am an application specialist here at MediaLogic, and mostly I cater to the open BIM as well as the BIM sector out here. This is something which we all know about, but still we miss out where and what lies in between. So, taking very less much of your time, I would just like to talk about closed BIM and open BIM and their implications for collaboration in the AEC industry when a construction project comes into picture. These play a very important role when you have to manage your BIM models, like Georgie has already showed us that how this information plays an important role. So talking about closed BIM, majorly throughout the globe, we see that today everyone is participating in closed BIM workflows. Only we find a very small fraction who is working on open BIM, and UA Building Smart as well as Building Smart UAE and Dubai Municipality are playing a major role in driving all everyone to open BIM standards and making it easy for us to understand why open BIM is needed. Now, closed BIM involves in working with a single software or a vendor, and where you are forcing everyone to be in your own environment and not letting them use what they want. And maybe this can streamline your processes, but what happens is when anyone outsider comes in, they have they figure out or they find it difficult to adjust to that. So that's where OpenBIM comes into picture, that it's a collaborative approach where you can use what you want but still can talk to each other. Like Georgie has already given an example. This slide if was actually planned before the entire presentation, but no worries, you can still now you can understand it better, that why OpenBIM is required, how IFC plays an important role, you be in your own environment, and how you can seamlessly communicate to each other and collaborate with each other regardless of the tools you have used. Why OpenBIM again? It supports transparent uh, approach and collaboration among all the stakeholders and all the parties involved. Future proofing, it ensures that data remains accessible to everyone even after X number of years. Even if the company or the vendor or no one is present, you still have your data with you, which you can use. Collaborative approach, OpenBIM bridges the gap between disciplines, fostering better communication and integration. And again, the point of efficiency, it reduces error and rework by as everything is standardized in the entire process. So this was it from my end, and we can have any questions anyone else has regarding to all of us, all three of us. I'll just stop sharing my screen.
Dr. Ali, would you like us to reply to the questions now, or are we waiting for more questions?
No, George, you already can start answering the question if we
Okay.
received any on the session, and you can also moderate the questions and answers yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you for Murtaza and Bhaskar, and also you are welcome to join Georgie by answering the question. And please make this conversation. We still have like 20 minutes to make a kind of interactive conversation to get the most benefit of this webinar. So Georgie, it's up to you now.
Yeah, I will start with your question. If I'm not wrong, it is your question. What are the challenges working with IFC models? The basic challenge, especially if you don't have the BEP, or if the BIM is not mandated on a project like it's normally not, is talking to each other and explaining what it is that you require from somebody else, or what it is that somebody else requires from you. As I mentioned before, let me just share the screen quickly, because I have yeah. So this is the steel model that came in as IFC file for that first small project that you have seen. And if you see, it is very well made. In BIM speak, this is approximately LOD 400, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, please somebody correct me. But frankly speaking, for the design coordination, even for the documentation, you don't need this. You don't need the bolts, right? You don't need the nuts below the bolts. You don't need this bolt also. Yes, you need this element because it can clash with the MEP element or whatever, right? So what we normally do is to try to discuss it with the supplier of the model, with the producer of the model. There are some flying objects also, if you notice, and we review the model and we adjust the model for the import before we merge it, before we integrate it with our model, because we are doing two things. We are saving time for ourselves. We are saving the time for the client, and as the second question that Bhaskar well asked was, we are saving the time for the project. In this case, as in all the other cases, these projects are usually done at the rate of, last week we were 3 weeks late. That is the usual deadline. So using the technology, using all the tools that you have at your fingertips, is going to help the project and to make the project more efficient and definitely faster. Muhammad Taha asked, what are the challenges about the transfer of attribute asset data associated with the native models? Is IFC compatible to transfer this data without any loss? The shoe actually should be on another foot. Is the software capable of transferring the information that it inherently has into the IFC file? Because IFC as a schema, as a model data, is capable of holding all the data that exists. Is the software that you're using when you're exporting IFC capable of producing that, of transferring the data without any loss? Of course, as in any translation, something has to be lost. Let's hope it's not something critical. It's like in Dubai, everybody is speaking some kind of English, because otherwise we will not be able to understand each other, right? Rarely, when people from the same country or the same region of the world that can understand each other meet, then they can speak in a language that they all understand, and that is maybe their native language. But and that goes for the so-called closed BIM. But we are trying to be a bit more open and a bit more flexible, and we are trying to speak to everybody. So let's open another file. I'm just using, because I opened a lot of live files to show you things. So I'm just, this is the small project of 40,000 square meters. These are the original models from the client that came with the, as you can see, these models came from Revit. As you can see, all the materials and or most of the parameters are there, right? Then this is as you can see, this is our model on top that we have been, see, we have changed one window, for example. It's not like this, it's like this. Just sprucing up the elevation, fitting the window size into the panel size. Nothing major, nothing very complicated as a change, but important to show. And again, if you click on this window, this is IFC file coming from ArchiCAD. You can see what it is. You can see its location, what it is part of. All the basic parameters are there. As I said, let me stop sharing again and share another window. Okay, when we are, this is a project from a year or two ago, so ArchiCAD version is 25. If I want to set up something, right, I can go to the IFC translator. For example, Dubai municipality is providing an IFC IFC translator for the preparation of their submission models, right? So out of the box, I have those translators. ICOSIM is, for example, Bentley software, Allplan, you have heard about, Costex, you have heard about, right? Dubai building permit IFC 2x3 or IFC 4, and Revit export for reference, Revit MEP, Revit structural. SIA, you haven't heard about, it's a structure, maybe it's a structural software that is used in Europe. So for every this is a teamwork project, so I have to reserve this in order to show you how to set it up. In every case, if you work with somebody else, there is at least a basic translator that is provided out of the box that you can then tweak to the actual requirements. As you can see. Speaking of classification, normally a lot of classification here is uniclass, but on the other side, you also have the BIM submissions classification for the Dubai municipality. For example, I want to send it to a MEP engineer that is using Revit, right? So I can choose my IFC format. I can choose what do I want to send, what is the model view definition as per the IFC settings, what part of the model I want to export, because really the MEP guys are not interested in everything. Which classification I can use? Do I need to add more classification? Right? What is the geometry conversion? This is very important. Yes, BIM is not 3D modeling, definitely. all the 3D models are used for the visual representation, but you have to take care of the modeling and the number of polygons unless you want to kill your computers. I mean, ArchiCAD can take a lot. We have integrated models that are range in a range of 2 to 3 gigabytes that we can work on. Of course, slowly, but we can work on. It's not crashing. It's not. But you don't want to do things. You're not able to do things extremely quickly. But optimizing the geometry is very important, especially if you're preparing in Revit speak families or in ArchiCAD speak objects to be used by somebody else. As our steel friends are putting in the nuts and bolts and washers, you don't have to put the numbers on the dial for an AC model. Nobody's going to look into that. So let's go back to the topic. This is, in this case, how we can ensure that the information is transferred properly. Do we have any more questions? I don't see any more questions.
Actually, we have a few questions, Georgie.
Please
I'm also
do.
helping you by answering some of them.
Yeah.
The first question was about, is the project delivered on time and budget?
Yes.
And how openBIM helped in achieving this goal? Another question was the challenges regarding transfer attribute asset data. I think you talked about it. And there are some questions about how IFC different from Naviworks, that the most of the clash detection software like Naviworks and Revisito can use both format. I did some replay on it. And there are some question about how do we handle software compatibility issue when using openBIM tools, example, AutoCAD Cloud, Construction Cloud, Revit, ArchiCAD with IFC or other standards. So there are a few questions. I don't know if you can check yourself the question and answer. You should.
I did not see those, or I cannot see them. But
Okay.
anyway, okay.
Now you see them. Okay.
Now I can see them.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
You know how they say everything works better if you switch it on, right? So challenges, how is IFC different from NWC? Navisworks is a piece of software that has its own file format. So if you are into the Autodesk BIM ecosystem, you're probably generating your models in Revit. You're probably generating your landscapes in Civil 3D because Revit cannot handle meshes for the terrain. It doesn't exist as a tool. And I don't know whether it's a software limitation or the way that people work. You have to integrate and put the models together in order to check for the clashes. And normally in the Autodesk BIM universe, it is done by combining the models in Navisworks. IFC is a universal file format defined by buildingSMART International. That means it's as I was saying, it's like English in Dubai. If everybody wants to understand everybody, we have to speak English. That's it. How do we handle software compatibility issues when using openBIM tools with IFC or other standards? There, software compatibility is a matter of you know how a lot of people ask me a lot of times what is the best software for whatever use, and I always have only one answer. The best software is the one that you have, that you know how to use properly, and that does what you need it to do. So whether in my case, I prefer ArchiCAD because I'm using it since 1995 and I'm very familiar and on 3 continents, and I stopped counting the countries long time ago. It has never let me down. Somebody else will swear by Revit, somebody else will swear by something else. What you use practically in the terms of, I've seen the terms of interoperability doesn't matter. What matters is how your tool plays with the others, how well it can transfer the information that you need to be transferred for the others, and how well it can understand somebody else when that information is sent to you. So there is no software compatibility as such. For example, we had an issue in ACC with the DWG for files published from ArchiCAD that we managed to sort out with the help of the friends who were helping us with the ACC. But those are all minor issues. Those are all hiccups even if you use the same software. If you get a drawing or a model from somebody else, there is a pretty big chance that not everything will be as you expect it to be, right? So what we have to do is to talk to each other before we start exchanging files, agree what should be what should be the things that I need, what are the things that you need. We all forget no software does anything, only people who use it do whatever is to be done. So it is always like that old definition of BIM, right? That includes people, process, technology. Process is easy to define, technology not so easy, but it can be made. But if people don't talk to each other, then everything is in vain. How does openBIM integrate with GIS? As I understand, the efforts of Dubai municipality are geared towards the digital twin system for Dubai and the GIS. Therefore, it integrates very well because universal 5 formats can be used for the same person. openBIM with technologies like VR, AR for visualization or 3D printing. Those are visualization. There is a number of in a sense, it's not BIM anymore. Visualization or VR and AR, in a sense, it's not BIM anymore because information is taking a backseat. Visual models and visual representation is most important.
Here, maybe can I add, Georgie,
I
for us in
do
Dubai
think that you can.
municipality.
Yes.
In Dubai municipality, for example, as you said, after we receive the BIM model in openBIM format IFC, we are converting them to another compatible format for WebGL, so we can then use virtual reality and augmented reality in other application, like to visualize the BIM model using the Holocaust or any virtual reality devices or through the web or some iPad also support the augmented reality. So we convert the openBIM model easily with a lot of available free tools to other formats which support VR and AR. For 3D printing, at the end, IFC model is a digital model. If we have a standard, if we include the enough details, information, which can then be supported by software tools for operating 3D printing. So we already know a lot about workflows and companies who are using openBIM as input model for the 3D printing. So this also possible.
Yeah.
There is a question,
also,
Georgie, about
yes.
why may some companies in the Middle East continue to use closed BIM despite the growing trend toward open BIM? I put my personal reply, but do you believe that that closed BIM and open BIM are something like opposite to each other, or they are like integrate together to have the open BIM vision? So I don't believe like you will stop using ArchiCAD or Revit to make your BIM model, right?
Of course not. Of course not. As I said, as I said, whatever tool suits you best, use it. But make sure that that tool can exchange the information with the other stakeholders, right? And there is yeah, how can openBIM be customized to fit the specific needs of different stakeholders or organization within a project? That is an excellent question, but there is you cannot customize openBIM. You can only define the means of communication, like Dr. Ali and his team have created templates for the authoring packages, right? And they have created for those packages. They have created the IFC translators. They have given us the tools. So what are we going to do with those tools is a different story. But openBIM means that you don't have to use the same thing that everybody else does. One friend of mine was also, we were discussing it, why might some companies continue to use closed-BIM? There are many reasons. There are business reasons, there are educational reasons, there are information reasons. Maybe some people are not promoting their solutions good enough, right? For example, Revisto is an excellent tool, but it's not widely popular around here. So why is a company using something is not something that anybody outside of that company could reply with any certainty.
There are a few questions Georgie also sent to the chat,
Yes.
not to the question and answer. Some people asking about like they are starting to utilize the Spickle to achieve the communication. And if you have any experience using a Spickle.
Frankly, no. I just meddled a bit and I didn't go deeper. But I know that that in my case, Archicad and Speckle work together quite well. But frankly, I don't have
yes,
any
maybe here I
personal
can
experience
add
that
something.
is. Yes,
Yeah.
you can, of course.
Spickle is a great company and great concept to share model easily in the internet. And actually, they already have an IFC support. So actually, if you have your model in IFC, you can simply upload it to Spickle and you share it with others and you start to communicate. If you install the connectors for Revit or Archicad or Blender or any other software, then you also have the possibility. Of course, they have a roadmap. They are trying now to support the construction industry by moving from just having a Spickle as a viewer and as a simple data model to support more use cases. So we are following the development of Spickle. And actually for buildingSMART itself, this is the for the future, moving away from transferring files to use API and direct connections and cloud solution. So yes, Spickle is something very interesting and we are following it. If you have any experience you would like to share maybe in a future webinar with us, if you have any success story or you did Spickle in some of your pilot projects. So we invite all professionals who are joining us today to contact us if they wish to be speaker in the future. There is a question related to the Dubai municipality requirement from engineer Hala Kusa. She is saying something like the Dubai municipality requirement according to the Appendix B and C, which provide detailed specification for each model element. And she is suggesting to avoid going into element details, such the level of nuts and bolt. Are there any exception allowed? The focus should remain on major coordination between disciplines. From my point of view, I can tell we are not going to the level of nuts and bolts, and our BIM standard is simplified at moment, and the requirement actually really focusing only on the main element of the model, and the increasing number of attributes which should be added to the model due to automation of the regulation checking. that the more details we add to the standard, the more rules can be checked by the consultant and by Dubai municipality automatically. I don't know, George, if you would like also to highlight your experience about using BIM standard of Dubai municipality in these two projects you already presented today. I know you submit them successfully to Dubai municipality.
Yeah, we submitted the second one, that is the big one. We didn't submit the first one because it's a different approving authority, but it's an interesting experience, and it has to be, as we discussed in person already. It's an interesting experience, especially for a larger project. But I would just ask you one thing. We should be more aware what kind of project it is, because reviewing an industrial project is not the same thing as reviewing a commercial or a residential project. There are some specifics that don't 100% match with each other, but that we can discuss in general in another situation, because what you have provided as a template is very good guidance, very good tool. It does need some adjustment and refinement, but everything is work in progress, and we have to work together to sort it out, right?
Thank you, Georgie. We have another
Most welcome.
question about optimization of the geometry. Would optimization the geometry, I assume the geometry of IFC model, affect the quantities estimated from the model? Do you want to answer it?
It depends. It depends what kind of optimization is used, and it should not affect the quantities, because optimization of the geometry is usually the reduction of the number of polygons in curved and spatial surfaces, and it depends also what is the tolerance for the quantity calculation. If you are directly linking into CostX or some other package for the costing end, or into some other 4D package, then you should run a check whether the software takes into consideration the geometry optimization or not. For example, I believe neither ArchiCAD nor Revit, for example, use NURBS surfaces, right? They do approximation. As far as I'm aware, only Rhino of the more popular formats uses NURBS. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, for example, how do you calculate volume in today's architecture after Zaha Hadid? Especially, it's very popular to just take your Rhino license and do some dough shaping, and then throw it to somebody to think how to build it, right? How do you actually do the quantification of that, and how much you can optimize geometry in that case? For example, an excellent example of a well done, very well done BIM powered project is the Museum of the Future. I don't know if anybody from the teams that worked on that project is here, but if you are, well done, applause from my side. That is an excellent project where the technology has actually shown that it can be used for something that it was probably originally not meant to do.
Thank you, Georgie. I can add also that if you choose the option to export the quantities when you export the IFC model, so the exact value of the quantities will be calculated inside the BIM authoring tools like Revit and ArchiCAD, and they will be exported as values. So optimizing the geometry will not affect them. But what will be affected only, for example, the volume, if you will calculate it from the geometry itself, and I think this is a very rare case. We have a question regarding and if there is that some people facing issues while converting Revit model to IFC, that the data lose.
I
So
don't use Revit, sorry.
I know this. That's why either me, I can maybe add some things, or we
speaking-
can keep it to another webinar.
we
or
can
Dr.
keep it for
Ibrahim
another-
or Aaron, they are on the
Yes,
call if they wish to
but
answer this.
I can add one thing here. There is an add-on for if you are working with somebody using ArchiCAD, and if you want an IFC from ArchiCAD, import it properly. There is a Revit add-on that Graphisoft produces that is free, that you can install to improve the quality of the export and import of Revit towards ArchiCAD. That's a tip for anybody using Revit that is working with anybody using ArchiCAD anywhere in the world.
Okay, Dr. Ibrahim or Engineer Aaron, do you wish maybe to give some advices how to like avoid data lose when you export to Revit? I think, Dr. Ibrahim, just if you wish, raise your hand, or Engineer Aaron. Otherwise, I think first of all, you should learn about IFC, and you should know the options when you export to IFC. And then you should learn the best modeling and to understand exactly how to map the shared parameter to the IFC inbuilt attribute, or to the properties coming from other standard like Dubai Municipality. Myself, I don't use Revit too much as a modeler. I know about the information management in BIM. But in Dubai Municipality, the technical team led by Dr. Ibrahim Fahda and Engineer Aaron Santos, they are supporting almost every day the consultant with such issues. And we usually run webinars. I think we had in the past one webinar talking about how to deal with Revit and how to export the IFC model. So please go back to the recorded webinar and listen to them. And if you have any issues, please contact us. There is a question from Engineer Taha Mahmoud about the BIM certification and arranging a webinar or a workshop in Dubai Municipality. We are planning maybe soon to have a webinar to talk more about IFC in some details. And there are some plans in Dubai Municipality to have a kind of learning path and certification path for external supply chain customers like consultant and contractors. And when they are ready, we will announce them.
Dr. Ali, if I can see one good question, one of the new ones.
Yeah, so go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to see. No, it's for you actually. How far Dubai Municipality have gone in automation of checking for compliance of building code? As far as I'm aware, it is rather high level of automation. Correct?
Yes, we started. We mandated BIM based on openBIM starting by January this year, the beginning of this year. We already received more than almost 80 projects submitted successfully to Dubai Municipality. We start the automation of the regulation based on the low-hanging fruit concept. So we started with the most common and most, let's say, like repeated or time-consuming rules, like checking the areas, minimum areas, checking rules of stairs, checking architectural regulation, checking the safety, and checking information about doors, safety, etc. And we are extending the rules, and you could expect by extending the number of rules which are automated that the BIM standard itself will be extended with additional information. So yes, we start even to hear from the consultant themselves that they start to see the benefit of adding or using the self-checking service, that they started to identify and to find out some violation with the standard. Of course, checking all rules or all regulation, which are maybe few hundreds or thousands of rules, if we want to talk about every details, is a long process. We are working on to extend the standard and extend the tools as well. At the moment, I think we have almost more than 100 building regulation which are checked. So if you are a consultant in Dubai, if you ever submitted any BIM model to Dubai municipality, you can yourself see the rules and check them. If you are a consultant in Dubai but you didn't submit any BIM model, we advise you to go to the buildindubai.gov.ae platform/BIM and watch the recording and download the BIM standard and sample model to get yourself familiar with the BIM standard, because there are plans in next year to extend the BIM mandate for other type of building, or to reduce the area or the number of floors for mandated BIM model. So we are doing our best to encourage and to get the people ready for the transition from drawing and CAD submission to BIM submission. Yeah, this is my answer. Do we have any further question now? Actually, we are behind the time, but if there are any question, we could continue with answering them. Otherwise,
there were a few questions asking for the PDF of the presentation. It's not a problem. I can give it to Dr. Ali and he can share it with all of you. I'm glad that you find the presentation interesting and that you would like a PDF of it.
yes, if you could share the PDF, and for sure we will also publish the recording of the webinar on the YouTube channel. I sent at the beginning of the meeting the link to join our social media. First of all, if you are not registered in the chapter, our membership is free, so there is no any official formal or process to be part of the community. Just register your information on the link I shared on the chat. And please, if you have LinkedIn, and I believe most of you have LinkedIn, I shared also the link to our page on LinkedIn. Follow us so you will receive the update about Dubai Municipality Standard, about any future event, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel and try to watch some of the past recorded event. And we always invite all professionals like Georgia. Georgia, you are a BIM master or BIM Don. We can call you, I think, here in Dubai, working since, I think, more than 30 years in this domain. We encourage all people who have something to share, some thoughts, some workflows, best practices, success project, any other technology related to digital transformation, not necessarily BIM. We are not just like targeting BIM. To contact us if you wish to be our next speaker or in the future. And I'm very happy with today. It's very interesting topic. We have almost like 150 people. Some people left us because we are now behind the time. But thank you again for all the speakers. Thank you, Engineer Hamid. Thank you for the whole buildingSMART team in Dubai Municipality. And of course, for the attendee who allocated time to join us today. If there is no further questions, please, Georgie, the mic yours, just to say the final words before we close.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy that more than 130 people made time to hear what we prepared and what we had to say, and may the BIM be with you. Be happy and have a great day.
Thank you, Georgie. The last question before we close, if there is any plan for MAB model, I think for the BIM mandate, yes, there are some plans, but MAB always come at the end because it's the most complex discipline. But yes, of course, there are some plan, and maybe MAB modeling will be optional at first, and then it will be mandated. So with this, I would like to finish the webinar for today. Thanks again for joining us, and hope to see you in the future soon. Bye-bye.